we're talking about stolen valor and the people that walk around in the fake uniforms that really haven't served not one day. So
or
what?
haven't even left the country, 85%, or haven't left their neighborhood.
So what makes up stolen valor, and why is it a serious crime?
Stolen valor refers to the act of falsely claiming military service, honors, or rewards that has not earned. It is considered serious because it disrespects the sacrifice of actual veterans and undermines the integrity of military honors, which are meant to recognize genuine acts of bravery and service.
Okay. So what are some ways that people um, pretend like they have been in the service?
Individuals may commit stolen valor by wearing military uniforms, displaying medals they didn't earn, or fabricating stories about their service. Motivations can include a desire for respect, attention, financial gain, or social status, often rooted in a lack of fulfillment in their own lives.
So basically, we got a lot of people that hang around the barbershop and tell their stories and wear these uniforms, fake medals, and they haven't been anywhere.
They haven't been anywhere. They wanted 85%. They never left their own neighborhood and they never left their community.
So
And,
this
or have no intention to.
so this makes them like look like they're really something to their
To their
community.
community, which they're not.
Okay, what legal repercussions exist if they get caught for claiming military service?
The Stolen Value Act of 2013 made it fraudulent claim military service or awards for personal gain. Penalties can include fines and imprisonment, particularly if the claims are made for financial benefits, such as in scams or financial activities.
And that's why a few people are missing in our neighborhood because we seen them wearing uniforms and we thought for years that they may have served. But what was really strange was, it's kind of weird that the war is over and you still walking around in that VFW, I mean, in that uniform, and you still telling your stories. But we don't really have no actual, documentations or anything. We just got your story, and you're telling us this story about being a war hero. So, how can communities and organizations work to kind of stop and make it aware for people in the community to realize that somebody may be pulling off this act of stolen valor?
This act, communities can organize educational campaigns, host events honoring real veterans, and collaborate with real veterans organizations to promote awareness. Additionally, encourage reporting of suspected stolen value incidents can help protect the integrity of the military.
So, what did your dad think about a few of the people in the neighborhood that um,
They were cowards
he felt that they were cowards?
and fraudulent and didn't deserve.
Well, now that your father's deceased, what you think about, and just kind of put it out, what you think he would think about somebody like J.D. Vance?
What he would think about J.D. Vance is that you were a Marine and you knew better. And you'd show respect to any military service, whether it's a Marine, whether it was a National Guardsman, whether it was an Army, whether it was Air Force, you show some damn respect.
Okay. And he never did in his years when he was here. He didn't really care for.
I mean, he hated, my father hated the predecessor. He hated the predecessor
And
with a passion.
what ended up happening with his papers, his documents?
His documents were signed by the predecessor, which is disrespectful to him. His will was, I do not want the predecessor on my documents.
Well, that didn't happen.
That didn't happen.
So we're gonna go to what role does social media plays in exposing people that pretend to be in the military?
Social media has become a platform for sharing stories and evidence of stolen valor, allowing individuals to expose false claims quickly. It fosters discussion about the implications of such acts and provides a space for veterans and supporters to advocate for accountability and support for genuine service veterans.
So, in other words, it's good that people got, that's basically talking about stolen valor and kind of bringing it to the forefront and having uh, people educated
What
on it.
stolen valor really is.
Okay, so it gives the veterans a space like the VFW.
Like the VFW is space.
Yeah. So, what did you think about that interview that was with what was it, CNN and Michael Eric Dyson and
What I thought about that interview with Congresswoman Bessie Nace and Michael Eric Dyson went on CNN was that Michael Eric Dyson held his composure. That's what he did. Because when Bessie Nace just said, I can call Kamala Harris away, name
Kamala?
Kamala Harris any way that I want. No, you cannot.
Well, I think she might have had some issues and she's still trying to deal with them. So, hi.
Hi.
Um, and that was,
I mean, she has some issues because here's the thing about Bessie. Here's the thing about Bessie Mace. She was in the military, okay? And she was actually,
okay. She just had some problems that
she had some problems that she had to work on.
all right. So, I guess my question would be, um, why do you think that she may still support, you know, with everything that Vance is basically saying about the military? Um, why would people still show support for anybody that,
I can tell you why they would support the predecessor and J.D. Vance for president. They do not want, and this is going to be too much, they do not want a woman as president. Not just any woman. That's bad enough. They don't want to have a command of a black woman as president of the United States. That's what it really, really comes down to. It's not only just sexist. It's too much enough with Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. That was a white woman. That was bad enough. A black woman, Kamala Harris, that's from India and black from Jamaica. Oh, it's gonna drive them insane.
well, seem like Chicago seem like they're gearing up because they don't, whether it's stolen valor or not, they seem like they're gearing up.
They're gearing up for the convention, and I wish they did not happen in Chicago after what happened in 1968. Okay,
What happened in 1968?
remember the riots in 1968 back in
Yeah.
Chicago with Hewitt Humphrey, and it led to Richard Nixon back in 1968, and where it was. I'm afraid this could be the same thing too.
Well, we're gonna hope that it really go a lot better. But back to our stolen valor. So, how would you top this off as with stolen valor in with people that
Oh, hey, gal! What happened in 1968? There was riots in 1968 in Chicago with Hewitt Humphrey. And it was some fights with Richard Daley back in 1968.
okay? So basically, um, there's a lot of Palestinians in.
There's a Palestinian against Israel incident back with Netanyahu. That incident as well. And there's been some fights over the Palestinian-Israeli issue
But I'm saying there's a lot of Palestinians located in Chicago.
in Chicago. And
Okay.
there's a lot of bad blood between Palestinians and black people. And it started back when it was a Palestinian American that killed Bobby Kennedy back in 1968. It destroyed that relationship between Arabs and black people. It was when that Palestinian American killed Bobby Kennedy.
You think we're getting where we are trying to mend fences?
We're hoping to mid fences, and that's what Kamala Harris is hopefully to do, is to mid fences.
But it don't help to.
And it is not helping when you have pro-Palestinian protesters right there. I understand what they're talking about with Benjamin Netanyahu as Israel's prime minister, but you are helping to get the predecessor back in.
I tell you what don't help is the negative, the narrative that we're getting with the narrative that we're getting now with the military, because that's not helping in that area,
No.
and it's really it's really kind of firing off. It's really pissing a lot of military men off. It's one thing, and you're not really supposed to mess with any particular group, but
The
uh,
military is the one that you do never, ever touch. That is very sacred.
yeah,
Very, very sacred.
yeah. And this
And no civilian honor is better than the military. No, it is not equal. Okay, getting shot is not equal to a award as a civilian. No, it's not.
What did you think about the predecessor giving that award to?
To Sheldon Addams, Sheldon Addams' wife,
That was kind of
and then gave the Medal of Freedom award to Sheldon Addams' wife. When Sheldon Addison, she would be sitting there proud. Sheldon Addison couldn't even move. First of all, and second, you don't compare Sheldon Addison's wife that gave you millions, billions of dollars to the campaign to a person that's been shot in foreign wars. You don't do that.
yeah.
Disrespect.
Well, that was the award that cost her a lot of money, I guess. And it was disrespectful.
It's disgusting and disrespectful that the VFW had to come in
Yeah.
and say that it was disrespectful, that you know better to do that. And Timothy Duckworth, the senator from Illinois that's having that convention, called him a coward, Captain Cadet Bone Spurs, because she was blown. She's an Iraq war veteran that lost both of her legs in Iraq.
She lost both of
Both
her
of her legs blown to smithereens.
and still moving
And
forward.
still moving forward as one of the great senators in Illinois.
All right. So, uh, the disrespect that we've had with stolen valor has to cease, right? That
Any
conversation,
disrespect of the military itself has to cease.
because they paid such a
They paid such a high, high price. They paid such a awful price.
the struggle is when they came back home, a lot of the men didn't get.
A lot of the men, when they came back home, those men were never the same again. They may have been alive in their body, but their mind, they were already dead.
And we can speak to power and
And
truth to that.
we can speak the power and truth to that.
Yeah.
They were already dead. And that's why we have survival spouse. What is survival spouse? When you survive the fact of the military.
Well, uh, and not so much as being a surviving spouse, but just when I reflect back over the years
Mm-hmm.
and the anger, uh, and it's a broad scope of just saying that when these men come back and all the sacrifices they made, mental health should be at the forefront.
Mental health should be at the forefront, not just for everybody, but especially people that have been veterans. They deserve our honor, respect, and and veterans deserve free mental health services for the rest of their lives for free.
And
They deserve it. They earned it.
even though we have a small channel and our niche is mental health, and sometimes people say, well, we go to your channel and you over there talking about the predecessor, and you over there talking about
That
uh,
is about it. It pertains to mental health because it pertains not to their thinking, but to their mindset.
and then it end up comparing the predecessor with President Biden and his mental acuity.
Yeah,
So it came down to
it
this.
did came down to mental health.
Yeah, and they're still investigating the health of the predecessor, and they're comparing and contrasting the health of Kamala Harris to the predecessor right to this day. Because anybody that gets in, okay, anybody that gets into office now, that's something that really needs to be assessed immediately. Because you cannot run this country, and if you cannot run yourself, and
If you
by
can't run yourself, you cannot run this country.
you know, and
And you
this
you don't need to run a business if you can't run yourself.
well, and I think that somewhere down the line, there should have been some sort of intervention that could happen to have stopped this along the way. But since there was no actual saying consequences during that person's childhood, because if you get in to be the president of the United States, or you running from any office, the bottom line is they're going to go back
They're gonna
on.
go back years to your record. Like it started with J. Edgar Hoover back when he was bullied, when he built the FBI. He built it. He built it where he goes back at least 25 years to your life, from your childhood all the way to your life.
Yeah, and
25 years in advance.
They dig up all your school records.
They dig up your school records. They dig up where you live, where you move. Your wives, your ex-wives. They dig up everything. Everything.
But what I find interesting is that, uh, on the topic of stolen valor, you got one person that, and he was military himself. Vance is military.
He's 4 years in the Marine Corps.
How can he have this view about the military? How can he, when one went in and didn't serve, none of his kids, which made a lot of other people angry. A lot of military people like, how can you come out and say this about us and you didn't even serve?
Not even one time. The predecessor don't know nothing about service to other people. He just knows nothing about himself.
Well, he like passing out awards.
And he like passing out awards.
It costs a lot of money, I tell you that.
Yeah, that is disgusting. It's disgusting. It is insulting, disgusting behavior.
Well, a lot of people came out and defended, from Reverend Al Sharpton
to Jesse Ventura, that also served in the military.
Yeah, there were many people that came to the forefront and say, hey, tone it down. You went off on the women, their rights. You didn't went into the Supreme Court and jumped in and made everything that was supposed to be wrong, right, not holding people accountable. And now
they're pro-corruption too. The Supreme Court is also pro-bribery. Pro-bribery.
They're going to be looking for you.
They are very pro-bribery. If you look at that mayor's case right there, when it's okay to even accept the bribe for public corruption, making it harder to even punish public officials for public corruption.
And do you think that, well, a lot of presidents, we had presidents that didn't really serve in the military, but they highly respected the military.
They highly respected the military. They highly respected, but they didn't go there like the predecessor did.
And they never made these type of statements.
Never made these type of statements. If you made these type of statements before the predecessor, you were disqualified. You would have lost the election. You were done. You would not even make it to the general election. You would have lost the election. You would have lost the primary making statements like that.
Well, we're going to close this out. I think it was a good stream. And just out of curiosity, what do you think your father would have said? I mean, just off.
My father would be going off on people like J.D. Vance.
What do you think your grandfather would?
My grandfather would be going really off. I have military veterans that are family members that are military veterans. They will be going off on people like J.D. Vance and Donald Trump. They will be cussing. They will be throwing their TVs.
Well, on that note, this has went back for years.
This goes back way years.
And now I think people are just so tired of the negative conversations that we're having, when we need to be moving forward, because all the issues that's coming up, and
all the issues that are coming up is even more worse now. It's going to be way more profound once that this election is over. Like the issue of automation. I just even saw a clip about this one guy that's building the robots that's going to destroy 80% of the jobs once that automation and the robots are ready. So we got to be talking about that.
Well, maybe they'll send
and mental health, and what that pertains to mental health.
Well, coming out, and really when we go back to it, this election kind of stemmed basically on people's mental health.
It does. On mental health, their jobs is on the line. Your life is on the line.
Yeah.
And if you're like a travel person, you're going to travel overseas is on the line as well. Like if you want to be like an American expat or a passport king and the passport bros, you better go for Kamala Harris to win.
Well, on that note, we're going to wrap it up. And stolen valor, if we see anybody in our neighborhood walking around with a hat, a suit, a medal, saying that,
Not you serving the military, which you have not even left your community. 85% of people never left their community, never left out of state, let alone served in the armed forces.
Okay. So them little people sitting up
And
at
then those people that are frauds, they need to be going to prison for this, and they need to be excommunicated out of the community after their time is up for that.
after their time is up.
And they need to be publicly shamed as well.
Well, we have seen a few people walking around with them beret hats on and tags and
But they don't claim, even people that wear those things, they don't claim to be in the military though. They just like it maybe for fashion or to support the military. That's one thing. If you're wearing it to support the military, that's one thing. I could get down with that.
but just to be running around saying
They say that I served in the military and you didn't even serve?
they didn't have, maybe they ain't got much in life and they just need that for attention. 'Cause
And they
that's what
need that
happens.
and doing it for attention and clout? That is one of the worst clout chasing.
I think Walt's kind of handled the conversation real good. What do you think?
I think Walt's handled it pretty well when he said, thank you for your service. But if it was any other person, especially a black veteran, oh, they will go ham off.
Well, I'm glad they didn't go ham off because we don't need no more.
They will go ham off. And don't even try that to a Latino veteran. If you go to any other minority community and impersonate a veteran, you will get your ass kicked. Especially a Native American one? Oh, boy.
Well, on that note, we're gonna wrap it up. We done said a bunch,
Yeah.
more than a bunch,
Yep, we sure did.
and I enjoyed this stream. And now you know that when you go home and you got some military stuff on, don't be running around here wearing it.
Don't be worried around unless you support the military. Do not be worried saying that I went to war. No, you did not went to war.
All right, so we need to send the predecessor email saying when is he gonna go to war? Or
Well, he ain't gonna go to war. He's not going to war. He's not going to go to war. His Vietnam was his Vietnam, and this was the predecessor's Vietnam was avoiding sexually transmitted diseases. That was his Vietnam.
oh
Yeah,
Lord.
yeah, that was his Vietnam. Listen, it's serious.
Okay, on that note,
That was his Vietnam was to.
we're gonna take it to the health clinic.
He was to. Yeah, that was his Vietnam was to avoid sexually transmitted diseases. That was his Vietnam.
All right, so we see that you're not gonna cut nobody any slack, and you're gonna tell it like it is.
Yep,
Okay, so we enjoyed this.
we enjoyed this.
Till the next topic,
To the next topic.
and I'll see you around soon.
See ya.
Okay.